You know his words will get you farther than the film will ever go. Give him a moment of your time, he'll tell you what's wrong with the show. He knows what's good, what's bad, what's really bad. His face is just a sign. Say hello to Confused Matthew.
Bad audio, terrible editing technique. Whew, just like old times. All right, lay it on me. Okay, so the show starts out with Beverly Crusher and a hitherto unknown guy being chased around by these aliens in masks. And so they fight them like all over the place and shoot them with guns. And they manage to get away, but Beverly needs help. And so she sends a message to Picard specifically, and she says two really important things in this dialogue. The first is no Starfleet, trust no one. And the second one is Hellbird. Repeat, Hellbird. And so it's going to be like this really cool, interesting mystery that opens the season because everyone's going to be like, oh, I wonder what Hellbird means. I wonder why she said no Starfleet. So Picard gets the message and doesn't know what that means. So he goes to Riker, and Riker tells him, oh yeah, you wouldn't know what that means because that was a code that we used while you were off the Enterprise because you were Locutus at the time. So he starts making... I'm going to have to stop you right there. You're telling me that Beverly Crusher was using a code to let someone know where she is, and then she sent that code to the one person in the galaxy that she knows doesn't know what it means. Well, yeah, but it was a cool way to open the show, right? Everyone's gonna think that it's this big mystery, but it's really just dumb. So Riker figures out where Beverly is, but then Picard's like, oh, remember she said no Starfleet, but it's okay because Riker has a plan for that, and his plan is to take a big-ass fucking Starfleet ship over there.
What?
So he goes over to the Titan, which used to be his old ship, and he tells Picard that they're gonna conduct a ruse. They're both going to pretend to be high-ranking Starfleet officers that are doing a routine inspection, and then along the way they're going to try... The hell do you mean ruse? They are two high-ranking Starfleet officers doing a routine inspection. No, but during the inspection, they're going to try to get the captain to go to where Beverly is. So that's probably like a really minor violation. Why doesn't Riker go to literally any starbase and say, hello, I'm a captain. I'll be taking a runabout, thank you very much. No, I need to work the ship into the story somehow. So they go to talk to the captain to try to convince him to go to where Beverly is, but it turns out that the ship is being commanded by this blithering, unstable weirdo. And he acts all weird, and there's something wrong with his affect. Okay, how did somebody like this get command of a starship? No, I came up for a reason why he's like this. It's because he got traumatized at Wolf 359. Oh, fucking hell, what characters haven't been traumatized in these new Trek shows? Alright, so they go to talk to the captain to try to get him to go to Beverly. Yeah, so they meet with him during dinner to try and continue the ruse. Not a ruse. But then the captain acts all weird, and he tells him no. So their second part of the plan, since that didn't work, was that I guess they just have to eat shit. But fortunately, 7 of 9's on the ship, and she just takes the ship there anyway against the captain's orders. So they go onto the ship to rescue Beverly. She put herself in, like, cryostasis or something. And then they meet the hitherto unknown guy. And check this out, okay? It's a big reveal. It turns out that this guy is Beverly and Picard's son. Beverly and Picard's son, yes. And we've never heard of this guy before now. No, I came up with a reason why that is. Okay, so after Beverly figured out that she was pregnant with Picard's son, Beverly just ghosted everyone in her life for 20 years, and she never talked to any of them again and didn't tell them why. You're making it so that Beverly Crusher did something that horrible for that long to all of her friends just so you have an excuse for why we've never heard of this guy? Yes. So later on, Beverly explains that she wanted to tell Picard about his son, but she realized that Picard makes all these enemies and she didn't want them coming after their son, and so in order to protect him, she didn't tell him about him. What the hell are you talking about? Picard didn't make enemies. Picard was more of an administrative character. He didn't have that kind of a relationship. No, Picard's like a really big, cool character, so he like makes all these cool enemies, right? Okay, I just Googled ahead to what you did with this character. You've got this guy running around with Beverly outside the Federation doing all this dangerous work. What do you mean she was trying to protect him? I need a reason why we've never heard of this guy. So the Titan comes and rescues everybody, and then it faces down this big ship that's trying to take Jack Crusher for some reason. And it turns out that this big ship is being commanded by this blithering, unstable weirdo. Another one? She acts all weird, and there's something wrong with her affect. How does this keep happening? No, I came up with a reason for why she's like this. It's because she's traumatized. Of course she fucking is. This character's actually a changeling, and during the Dominion War, she was captured by the Federation, and they tortured her horribly for weeks on end until she went insane. God. And their end goal was to, like, try to turn the changelings into changelings. They're still changelings, but they're like better though, and they can bleed. This is something that the Federation did? No, I'm using Section 31 again. This fucking thing. Yeah, this is like the third character on these new Trek shows that you've said was tortured either to death or insanity. You know this is Star Trek, right? Optimistic future and all that? No, that's lame. More torture. So, this changeling eventually escaped her captivity and torture, and now she's hell-bent on taking the Federation down out of revenge for what they did to her during the Dominion War. Where are the Jem'Hadar or the Vorta? What? If there was a changeling that was tortured during the Dominion War and she got away, the Jem'Hadar or the Vorta would come and take care of her. I don't know what that is. I've never seen Star Trek. So, this changeling needs to capture Jack Crusher for some reason, and we don't know why yet. So she cats and mouses around with the ship for a while, and the ship almost escapes, but there's a changeling infiltrator that sabotaged it and blew stuff up, so they're stuck here. They eventually get him, and then Beverly is like, oh, changeling, and it's all different. I don't know what this is about. I better operate on it. So she does experiments on the thing. Hang on. Stop. Is this the first Beverly is hearing about changelings being involved in any of this? Yeah. At the beginning of the season, Beverly sent a message to Picard and said, "No Starfleet, trust no one." What the hell was she talking about if it wasn't this? I don't know, but it was a really cool way to open the season, wasn't it? Everyone thinks it's going to be this really cool mystery, but it turns out it's just, like, super fucking dumb. So the changeling on the big ship keeps talking to this big, dumb-looking face thing that looks like a Power Rangers villain, and it's like, no, you have to go get Jack Crusher. I don't care if it kills you all. That's the important thing. And then it's like it's this really cool mystery because everybody is like, oh, I wonder who or what this thing is. So they escape the nebula, but the first thing they find out when they get out of there is that the changelings have already infiltrated all of Starfleet. And then right after they learn that, the changelings frame the Titan for crimes. And they have to, like, cat and mouse all over the place, and they can't trust anyone because everyone they meet is a changeling now. Eventually, Vadic, that changeling that was tortured, catches up with them, and she almost gets them, but they turn the tables on her, and then they just, like, blow her outside of the ship like a big sack of space garbage, and then she, like, freezes and shatters onto her own ship. And she died. She's dead. That's it? That's how you're ending this character. You were both sidesing the Dominion War, saying that this poor changeling was tortured unjustly by Starfleet, and you're ending her character just by blowing her out into space and killing her? Were you even trying to say anything with this torture subplot? No. So eventually we shoehorned the rest of the Next Generation cast into this thing, and they're all really happy to see Beverly. Why are they even speaking to her after what she did? We finally figure out why that changeling wanted Jack Crusher so bad. So this whole time, Jack's been having like hallucinations of killing people, and he has this weird ability where he can like take control of people now. And we come to find out that the reason that is because he was born a Borg. That's right. The big bad in this series wasn't the changelings after all, it's the Borg. So when Picard was Locutus, the Borg Queen did something to his DNA to where if he ever had a kid, the kid would be born like a new Borg or something. And the Borg really want him to come there because he can like connect with all the other Borg drones. And that's why the changeling wanted Jack so that she could bring him to the Borg Queen, because the changelings were working with the Borg the whole time. See, the Borg need the changelings because now that they've infiltrated all of Starfleet, they can monkey with the transporter so that anyone who used it recently will turn into a Borg drone. And the changelings need the Borg because so the transporters turn everybody into a Borg drone, but the Titan crew figures out that it's only the people under 25 that this happens to, so they're all fine because they're all like super old. So for some reason, Starfleet just recently networked all the starships together, which means that the Borg now have control over like all the starships. But the crew of the Enterprise is like, oh, I know one starship that's so old it's not on this network. And check this out. Okay? Check it out.
What?
Are you listening? Yeah? It's the Enterprise D. Put back together by Geordi, just like it was 30 years ago. And then the crew all get on board the bridge, and it's just like the bridge from the old show. And they all sit there and talk and reminisce about the bridge, and then they all fly off out with the Enterprise D towards the Borg threat, just like 30 years ago. Just like 30 years ago. Oh, fuck yeah, just like 30 years ago. Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. Oh. 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 Ew, stop that! Now, it turns out that the Borg Queen was hiding out in Jupiter, so they'd fly over there to go stop her, and she looks like a big, dumb, rubber Power Rangers villain, and she literally goes, ha, 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 ha. Like, seriously? Oh yeah, so that takes me back to something, by the way. What the hell was that thing that the female changeling was talking to that wanted Jack? Was that another changeling, or was it the Borg Queen somehow? Yeah. Sure. So, yeah, that's why Vatic wanted Jack, but I guess that was pointless because Jack just came here anyway, and now he's called Vox, and he looks like a big, dumb rubber Power Rangers villain, and he's a Borg now, but Picard talks him out of being a Borg. And then the Enterprise goes into the middle of the cube where the Borg Queen is, and they shoot the thing, and then, like, everything blows up, and everyone gets rescued, and then the whole cube blows up. And so she died. She's dead. Then, for some reason, everybody who was turned into a Borg because of the transporter has, like, their Borg wears off. So then after the day is saved, the Enterprise D like flies off in victory, and we get this big glory shot of everybody on the bridge just like they were 30 years ago. And then we hear this big swelling music as the ship flies away because the crew of the Next Generation on the Enterprise D saved the galaxy once again. Okay, but wait, so that's how they got rid of the Borg threat, but didn't you say the changelings already infiltrated all of Starfleet? Okay, so I don't know. Beverly came up with a way to detect the changelings and the transporters, and so the changelings weren't a problem anymore either.
Then what was the point of any of that?
What do you mean?
You had these guys running around in a giant hamster wheel of a plot, and your resolution was to blow a thing up and put a Ring doorbell in the transporter?
No, who cares how we got here? The point is, after 10 pointless episodes, by any means necessary, I got them all back to exactly where they were 30 fucking years ago. Who cares if something's like what it was years ago? This is stupid.
Stop that.